Welcome along to the Make It Count podcast. My name is David,
And my name's Matt.
and we are the Taylor Bros, and this is our summer series number 2.
Our summer short, series two, episode 2. Wow, we are starting strong today. The series is all about 6 dead simple ways to improve relationships, or another way of thinking about that is 6 trust building activities in relationships. Last week we did number 1, understand the individual. This week, number 2, attend to the little things.
Yes, so this is all from Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about improving the emotional bank account, attending to the little things. And he talks about this story. The one time he took his 2 sons out for like a sort of a dad and son's day. They went trampolining, they went, had hot dogs, orangeade, all of that sort of stuff. And then in the evening, they went to watch a movie. Now,
Sounds like a pretty ideal day for
I
2
know,
sons and their dad.
pretty
Sounds
good.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the film, his sons at the time were 4 and 6 years old, and the younger one, Sean, he was 4. He fell asleep watching the film. But he and Stephen, his eldest son, so there's 2 Stephens in the story to confuse things. They carried on watching it, and then when the film finished, Stephen Covey, the older dad, he picked up Sean and put him in the back seat. And it was a bit of a cold night. I think it was November or something like that. And he just took his coat off and wrapped it around him. And they drove home, and he took Sean, put him in bed, wrapped him up, put him in his pajamas, and then sort of talked to his older son, 6 years old, and sort of, wanted to see how the night was going. He brushed his teeth, he's put his pajamas on, he was laying in bed, just like chat about the day, it was fun. And his son was like, I guess I enjoyed it. Probably the trampoline was my favorite part, but just like really kind of flat. And he could tell like something was up. And so he's like, is everything okay? And then his son just sort of like turned to him completely, like to face the wall, like turned away from his father and just facing the wall. Someone was like, his father was like, well, something is clearly like up here. And he sort of like looked over, and there were like tears welling up in his son's eyes. And he's like, what's up? What's up? And he goes, if I was cold, would you put your coat round me?
Wow.
And in amongst all of the fun of the day, the exciting things, the film, the food, actually is that little thing unplanned of his father wrapping his little brother in his warm coat that made the biggest difference. And that's number 2. How to improve relationships is attend to the little things. No one had planned to wrap him in a coat, but that had resonated. It's like, oh, we all know that. It's that little touch, those little moments that we must attend to improve our relationships.
Wow. Yeah. Powerful. And I think those are the sort of things that you can't fake, can you? I also have, again, I have a positive story. It's a boss. This is brilliant. Last week I was talking about one of my managers, and this week it's one of the bosses of a company that I work at.
You'll make everyone jealous.
I think it's good to have some positive boss stories, isn't there? Because it's very, and I've had my fair share of not so positive boss stories as well. So yeah, again, like just picturing the scene. Here we are, just working in the office. This was before the pandemic, and then has happened again since when we've been able to go back in the office again, and just working away. And then hear someone coming up the stairs, boom boom boom. It's an old building, so you can hear everyone coming up the stairs. It's like creaky and everything, so you always know someone's coming up because we're on the very top floor. And then you hear a warm, hi gents, how's it going today? And it's the managing director of the company, and he's just going, how's it going? And he'll ask about family, he'll ask about what's going on outside of work, and then just generally, how are things going with your projects? And that was, again, a very similar to last week's one. He's taking that time, but it was attending to the little things of going, I'm interested in things more than just your job. One of the other things that he would then do is he would go, I'm going for a coffee round. Would you guys like any coffees or hot chocolates or whatever? There was a really nice coffee shop just down the road, and he would go down and then come back and bring us these really nice coffees. And again, that's not in his job description. That's not one of his requirements. That's not, we're not necessarily the most important people in the company. Partly we were just receiving the daily kindness because we were there in the office and we were in proximity. But he took that time to do that, and again set a little bit of a culture for people to do that, and it was really enjoyable when that happened. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and like you said, going and buying coffee for people and checking how they are, it isn't a big thing, and that's kind of the point of this one, is can you attend to the little things? Because when we do, that actually does make a big difference. When we, I mean, there's even a proverb, isn't it? You know, if you've been faithful with little, you'll be faithful with much. And actually, that idea of like, we notice when people pay attention to the little things, and that intuitively helps us go, well, maybe they'd be trusted with more. And even I was thinking about this the other day. Actually, it was when I was engaged, before I was married. Went to a park with my wife, and actually, it was
fiance at that point.
Fiance at that point, yeah.
Get the facts right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, it was in the winter, so it wasn't a very like, you know, well, there weren't flowers out, shall we say, you know, but it was a bit chilly as well, and it was just a little thing. But my ears were really cold, and Charlotte let me wear her big fluffy hat. It didn't matter that it was like, you know, pink or apricot, I forget which color, but or it didn't really look good on me. But I just appreciated that she was like, yeah, you wear it.
You're saying hats don't look good on you, Dave?
Never have. And also like after the hat, but my ears were warm, and it was just this little thing of just like keeping my ears warm, and it wasn't a big deal. But that again is the point, is if you went into work and somebody didn't ask how you were on one day, that would be fine. If you went into work every day of that week and nobody asked how are you, you'd be like, If after a month nobody had asked how are you, it becomes a really big thing.
Yeah.
And it's that genuine, it's a little thing, but it's a big thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The sort of follow-up of attend to little things, it's those daily kindnesses and daily acts of respect. I really like that. You know, how can we do daily acts of respect for people? Because we live in a culture which loves to tear people down. So how can we do that where we show a little bit of respect with kindness? And kindness is not necessarily something that's earned or deserved. It's just do it because I want to show respect. I want to show that love and attention. A word that I think is really powerful with this one is when you are attending to the little things, what you're showing is attunement to their needs. You've seen their need and you've said, and I want to help you meet that. So yeah, Charlotte was like, I've seen your need, your cold little ears, and I will warm them with my hat. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
And all of these ways to improve relationships have a flip side. You know, you can improve, you can make a deposit by attending to the little things, by noticing and respecting, but you can withdraw by little unkindnesses, by little disrespects. And that's sort of like the shadow side of this, and all of them do. But that, I think, did you want to say something?
It's not even though, because there is also a category, and I think this one helps nail it on more, of just neglect. You don't even have to do the negative, just the absence. And that's what you were saying. It doesn't necessarily have to turn up at work and people be mean and rude to you. It's just if nobody's showing that interest, then that can still be difficult. And there is literally, I think in our law, if you're a carer of a dependent and you show neglect and you don't care for their needs, that is culpable. You are culpable for that. It's not just you were bad to them, it's that you didn't meet their needs. And of course, we're talking more about some of the emotional intimacy needs, but those are real human needs. Then, you know, you might not die in a day if you don't have them, but ultimately your heart will die 1,000 deaths.
So there's the three-sided coin, is it? There's the positive, you're, you know, depositing, but then there's also the neglect and then the active disrespect.
Absolutely.
And I think that is episode 2 of our summer shorts. If you want to build trust, build relationships, do that by attending to the little things.